in Paris 2024. So it's a pleasure to award our Mexican Olympic team, ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Alvarado, Andrés Azcárraga, Eugenio Garza, Federico Fernández.
Nuestro equipo olímpico que nos acaba de representar en París, Carlos Hank, Andrés Azcárraga, Federico Fernández, Eugenio Garza. Aquí con ellos y les pedimos a todo el público un fuerte aplauso para estos 4 jinetes.
Indeed, and more than deserved round of applause for the Mexican Olympic team. Just a quick word, Federico, because I mean you've represented Mexico on so many big occasions. How have you experienced Paris? How did it feel to represent your country on the Paris Olympic Games in 2024?
Well, this is always the highlight of any rider's career. It's always a privilege and an honor. It was great to join with such a fabulous and capable team, great teammates that made it really special. And well, what can I tell you? It's always just like a dream come true.
And I mean the entire Olympic Mexican team here at the Otomi Horse Show 2024, I think it shows how important this show is in Mexico, right?
Yes, I think that all the organizing committees in Mexico are really making a great effort. It really shows. We really appreciate the support of all the best riders in the world coming. And for us, it's amazing to be able to receive them in such amazing facility and in such an amazing effort and prices and conditions for the horses and everything. It's just Mexican hospitality at the best.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. One more round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the Mexican Olympic team 2024.
Fuerte aplauso para el equipo olímpico.
So then we're looking forward to the performances in the Grand Prix of our Mexican Olympic riders, Carlos Alvarado, Andrés Azcárraga, Eugenio Garza, and Federico Fernández, who will compete and take their shot in an impressive field in our 5-star Grand Prix.
Vamos a hacer una entrega de reconocimientos a su apoyo aquí en Otomí y en representación de Alejandro Valleres de GNP Seguros. Tenemos a José Manuel Vaz, director de Recursos Humanos, aquí para recibir el reconocimiento. Gracias, José Manuel, por todo tu apoyo. Podemos invitar a Rosenda Martínez Ramírez, de la Dirección de Comunicación e Imagen Corporativa de GNP. Rosenda, ¿andas por ahí? No se encuentra con nosotros. El reconocimiento de Rosenda también lo recibe José Manuel Vaz. Rosenda Martínez Ramírez, de la Dirección de Comunicación e Imagen Corporativa de GNP. Necesitamos la presencia de Carlos Hank González aquí en la pista, por favor. Presidente del Grupo Financiero Banorte. Carlos para recibir el reconocimiento por su apoyo en este evento aquí en Otomi. Gracias, Carlos. También necesitamos la presencia de Antonio Chedraui. Ha sido miembro del Fall Tour 2024, que fue Jalapa, aquí en Otomi y después en Monterrey. El Fall Tour 2024. Antonio Chedraui, hijo, ¿te encuentras por ahí? Gracias, Juan Pablo. Juan Pablo recibe también un reconocimiento como miembro del Fall Tour 2024. Ilan Ferder, ¿te encuentras por ahí, Ilan? Ilan Ferder. Podemos invitar a Alfonso Romo. Alfonso Romo, ¿te encuentras por ahí, por favor? También necesitamos la presencia del señor Jaime Azcárraga para su reconocimiento. Jaime Azcárraga, presidente del Consejo de Administración de Grupo Radio Fórmula. Gracias a todos. Cuando los encontremos les vamos a dar sus reconocimientos personalmente.
We are getting set and ready, ladies and gentlemen, for the 5-star Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros 2024. And let's have a look at the course. Let's have a look at the test built, constructed, and thought of by the mastermind from Germany. It is Olaf Petersen, our international course designer this week here at the Otomi Horse Show 2024. We start the course, the test of this Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros on the vertical back there before our grandstand of GNP. That is the vertical of Banorte. That is our first fence. Easy start towards our in and out gate of the arena. Fence number 1, the vertical of Banorte on a height of 1.50 meters in the course of this 5-star Grand Prix. Following the line to the second fence, second obstacle is once again a vertical on a height of 1.55 meters. That's a vertical in the white and the blue colors of Amwat. Then we follow the line towards fence number 3. Interesting line to start this course of the 5-star Grand Prix from the vertical of Banorte to the Amat vertical, and then we continue to fence number 3 in this course set by Olof Pedersen. A fence with a, let's see, with a height of 1.50 meters and with a width of 1.60 meters. It's a 1.60 meters wide Oxer fence number 3 in the beautiful blue colors of Otomi fence 3 in the course towards our short side of the VIP hospitality, and lots of people, lots of VIP members coming down today. Silent presence for this highlight of the 5-star week, the highlight of the first week of the Otomi Horse Show 2024. From fence number 3, the Otomi Oxer with a width of 1.60 meters, we go to the Bar de Spa, fence number 4, the Bar de Spa, on a height of 1.55 meters, a triple bar with a very wide fence. Classically, Bar de Spa or a triple bar as you wish. Very wide fence. The width of this Bar de Spa is 2.10 meters. It's a Bar de Spa of Grupo Formula, ladies and gentlemen, at fence number 4. Riders have a bit of time after the Oxer number 3 to go to fence number 4, but cannot take rather as much time as they would like, because we have a time allowed in a Grand Prix like this with a speed of 375 meters per minute, and time allowed is crucial to keep in mind. So fence number 3 is there, the 160 wide Oxer of Otomi, and then following the line, easy line towards the Bar de Spa, the triple bar from Grupo Formula here near the long grandstand side. From fence number 4 we continue to a very narrow vertical, a vertical in a beautiful Mexican theme, fence number 5. And interesting to know, as you actually see on all fences, all verticals and Oxers in this course, where fences in the past used to be like filled with poles, very heavy material, very heavily built. Now the course designer has the opportunity to play with very modern material. And you see that, for example, here at fence number 5, the course designer Olof Pedersen chooses really modern material, plays with the modernity of the fences, of the obstacles here at Otomi. Beautiful line from the Bar de Spa, from the triple bar at fence number 4 of Grupo Formula to fence 5. Only 3 poles covering this fence means that the riders and the horses can look right through that fence. It's really lighty fence, makes it optically a bit more delicate on the line from 5 to 6. 5 strides between that vertical number 5 and a beautiful Mexican theme. It is actually a theme that's been drawn in that entire line from fence number 5 to the Oxer number 6. 5 strides to, let's see, a 1.50 meter high, but a 1.70 meter wide Oxer. Look how wide that Oxer is. Fence number 6, really wide Oxer. It is fence number 6 in the course after 5 strides after that vertical number 5 in the track of Olof Pedersen. And then our German mastermind chooses for a double combination after a turn of like, almost, let's say 90 degrees behind fence number 6, chooses for a double combination at fence number 7A and 7B. Once again on fence 7A there in a beautiful guitar theme and a musical theme, only 3 poles at fence 7A, and then a wide Oxer that follows. There the riders, the horses are being tested, the balance, coordination is being tested after that 90-degree turn to the combination fence at fence number 7AB. 150 high vertical, and then we go and we jump out on a 160 wide Oxer at fence number 7B. Halfway the course, because it's a course with 14 obstacles. 14 obstacles in this Grand Prix course of the Otomi Horse Show 2024. And after the double combination, riders turn towards once again a delicate line, delicate part in this test for 35 of the very best riders and horses in the world, because then they go to that Oxer on a height of 1.60 meters, not so wide, but it's a very high Oxer, and they turn away from the short side there, and then there is that Oxer number 8, a very high Oxer, and it's the beginning of a tricky line, because from fence number 8 they go normally, I would say, nearly 8 strides to the water fence. We have an open water fence in the course of this Grand Prix. There will be an international judge as well, standing next to the fence to see if the horses do not land in the water. Because if a horse lands in the water, then that means 4 penalties. The horses cannot land in the water, have to jump, and look how wide that fence is. It's that's tough. This water fence, an open water fence in the Grand Prix. The water has been used the first day, I think, but the open water fence has not been tested yet this week. So that will be interesting to see how the horses react in the line from fence 8 to 9. Then after 9, the open water fence, riders go on a 6 strides towards fence number 10. We talked about the modernity of fences, we talked about the openness of fences, a lighty, delicate material. And here you see, riders and horses go really dynamically with a lot of power and energy and speed over that water fence. And then there is the vertical number 10. A vertical, a very open vertical. Riders have to hold back, have to do 6 strides. And if you see there on top, a really light plank, a really delicate plank on top here of fence number 10. Only 3 poles and a light, delicate plank. Like one touch and it falls down. That plank number 10 after 6 strides behind the open water fence in this course built by Olaf Pedersen. And then it's not finished yet, because then riders, horses have a bit of time once again, but not too much, because we have a time allowed. That is crucial as well. As you know, behind fence number 10, they make a curve towards this beautiful, I love that fence, I absolutely do. Love fence number 11, the wall with the watermelon. Fence number 11. It's an interesting, it's a beautiful fence, but horses can be a bit spooky because, I mean, look at the fence, you cannot look over it. Riders are turning away from that short side, and there is this impressive, a massive fence, but a beautifully decorated fence. The wall number 11 in this course of the Grand Prix, powered by GNP Seguros. Then after fence number 11, the watermelon wall, they go a long distance to once again a wide oxer. Let's see, it's a 1.55 meter high and a 1.70 meter wide oxer. Number 12, the oxer of Conade, and not only it is an open fence, it is a wide fence, it is a high fence, it is a Grand Prix worthy fence, but it's a fence as well with a water tray underneath. Makes it a bit more spooky, a bit more optically difficult for the horses to jump after a long line and towards the end of the track as well. So here, this is a really interesting line in the course of Olaf Pedersen. The watermelon wall down towards a high, wide and delicate oxer of Colnade in the white colors with a water tray underneath. And then we talked about the delicacy, we talked about the combination fence at fence number 7AB. Well, this is interesting. To finish a Grand Prix course, we have a triple combination. Is the triple combination of GNP Seguros, or title partner of the Grand Prix, after that long line from the watermelon fence to the 170 wide oxer of Conade. Riders go in that last line, and that last line starts off with a triple combination. Triple combination coming in after a really tight turn to this 1.60 meter high and wide oxer of GNP Seguros, then holding back to this vertical in the middle. And now once again, look at this oxer, look how wide and how high this oxer is at a third element. It's a 1.52 meter high and a 1.60 meter wide oxer at fence number 13C. Normally, of course, would end at fence number 13, but not in this Grand Prix. Not in this Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros, because then after that triple combination on the 7 strides, riders go to the last fence. That is fence number 14. Are wide, narrow, open vertical to finish the course of this Grand Prix. Interesting as well, talking about optical elements, where the course designer is playing with in this course is, by the way, let's see, a 1.65 meter high vertical to finish this course. And talking about the opticality of the fence, riders and horses, when they approach a fence, it's easier for horses to make a judgment when the poles have like different colors. When the poles have, let's say, as other fences like the Otomi fence have different colors, horses can make a more accurate judgment of a fence. Here, towards the end of the course, after the triple combination, then the course designer uses a flat color. Only one color in the poles makes it more difficult for the horses to make a judgment, to make an accurate idea of that fence number 14. It's all interesting, all kind of elements, optical elements, delicate elements that our course designer uses in the course of this Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros. And it's a test for the physical condition as well. Oh my God. What a track, what a course for this Grand Prix of our 5-star series here at the Otomi Horse Show 2024. Let's see where I can find, here's Olaf. We have a quick word with our German mastermind, our course designer this week, this 5-star week at the Otomi Horse Show. Olaf Pedersen, how are you first of all? All good?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for a great explanation of my course plan.
You're welcome. Olaf, just one question. With this course for the Grand Prix, with a very impressive field of participants, what do you aim to achieve? Which questions do you like to ask riders with this course? In your opinion, where are the most delicate and difficult points?
Well, first of all, I have to say we have absolute beautiful conditions here. The footing is so good. I think there are not many showgrounds in the world who have such a good grass footing. And actually, after I saw the horses going on Thursday, I had to change my plan for the Grand Prix and add one jump. We have 14 numbers here because I thought otherwise horses jump too good, horses jump it. They like it. Like it here in Otomi, same like us.
Thank you so much, Olaf. Looking forward together with you to this Grand Prix. And then the countdown is on, ladies and gentlemen. A few moments away from the start of the Grand Prix, presented by GNP Seguros 2024. 35 of the very best riders and horses in the world, ladies and gentlemen, are going to battle it out over this course. You have an insight, you have expertise, you have knowledge about the track, we know the difficult points, we know where to look forward to, where to look out for in the test built by Olaf Peters, and has built so many championships and World Cups, and has set the test for this 5-star Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros 2024. There's a lot at stake this afternoon, a lot at stake. We have points on the long team ranking and a prize fund of 6 million pesos in this Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros 2024. So it's a course with a triple combination in the last line, the triple combination from our title partner on 13 A, B and C, a double combination on 7 A and B, and a total of 14 obstacles. Really important to keep in mind is the time allowance, because at some points riders can take a bit of time, let's say behind fence number 3, after fence number 4 as well. Riders can take time, but they cannot take it as much as they would like to, because we have a time allowed based on the distance of the course and based on the speed required. The speed required in a 5-star Grand Prix is 375 meters per minute. And based on that speed and the length of the course, we have a time allowed. And riders who jump all the fences clear, who jump the open water fence clear, the triple combination clear, the double, all these 14 fences clear, but cannot end inside the time allowed, will be punished with time penalties, and that can be such a pity. The time allowed is essential to keep in mind. Riders who jump clear and end inside the time allowed will get through to the jump off. And in that jump off, the second shortened course at the end of this Grand Prix, we will discover who's going to be crowned as champion of the 2024 5-star Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros. We're building up towards the Grand Prix. Once again, a very warm welcome to San Miguel de Allende. Welcome to Grand Prix Day of the Otomi Horse Show 2024. We are getting set and ready for a sensational Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros.
I once dreamed of a place like this. A place waiting for me to discover it, to find myself in it, where I can be free, where I can be me. A place where I can open myself to love, to falling in love. Where every door contains a universe of its own and an invitation to explore life, to live life. A place where possibilities become endless and inspiration is all around. Where art is shared through the senses and in all its forms. And every hand has a unique story to tell. A place in which every flavor is a journey and a chance to connect with where it all began. And through every doorway comes the possibility to experience the unexpected. A place where there's life underneath the stars. And dreams, well, dreams become life itself. I once dreamed of a place like this. With so much life, it has a heartbeat of its own. San Miguel de Allende, the heartbeat of Mexico.
Compadre, mejor lleva tu adrenalina a las alturas.
Juégale en Play Do It.
Bienvenido a la cima, donde juegan los mejores. Y como dice un buen amigo, apuéstale, mi rey.
Play Do It. Entra a ganar.
Ese Poncho, ¿qué se siente ganar en Play Do It, carnal?
Con madre. Yo ya jugué en todos lados y me quedo con Play Do It.
Play Do It. Entra a ganar.
Welcome, everybody. Absolutely delighted to be here with you in this most amazing part of Mexico, the true heartbeat of Mexico. It is San Miguel Allende, and this is what it's all about. The 5-star international Grand Prix, the Otomi Grand Prix, the GNP presented $340,000. Well, near enough, $339,500, but we'll keep it easy. It contains some of the world's very best riders, including the world number one, including some big names from here in Mexico, from Brazil, from the USA, and of course those that have made the trip over from Europe as well. There is a whole host of top talent, not just in form of the riders, but the horses they have with them as well. Some really interesting combinations. We've got some new partnerships. Keep an eye out for Henrik tonight. He's got that relatively new ride, Minute Man, of course, of Villengres. We'll look forward to seeing how they get on at this level. But then you've got more established combinations, Daniel Deusser and Richard Howley there with Zodiacs. Richard won the big Grand Prix here in Mexico just a couple of weeks back, and Daniel was second, and I'm sure that battle could well resume. But then you've got the likes of Mexico's with Eugenio Garza Perez and Contagio. What a super combination those two make. And they've been lucky with the draw as well. They got quite a late draw, but you add in the likes of Carlos Guerrero, big names we all know. It's going to be a fascinating occasion. Eduardo Pérez de Menef, Sergio Alvarez Moya, it really has drawn together so much talent. The money will do that. The venue will do that. It is incredible, this venue, this Otomi residential venue. Beautiful scenery, wonderful landscape, but ultimately it is a first-class, world-class equestrian facility. And this grass arena has been giving us some great jumping over Olaf Peterson Jr.'s courses so far here. This is week one. Jens Backman has got the, well, lucky job, I would say, for some, but unlucky for others, of going first. He's the pathfinder around this course. It's long, 14 numbered obstacles, but that's 17 jumping efforts. It does include the water. You've got the combination actually coming right at the end of the course, 13 ABC before they go on to 14, the double coming somewhere in the middle around 7. Let's see how it unfolds. Let's see how it rides. Let's see if the time allowed becomes part of the story. Maybe, maybe not, but it'll certainly be there to keep a little bit of pressure on them. There's 88 seconds is that time allowed, and we're looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds here tonight. It's a beautiful day. There's a wonderful crowd, and there is a huge amount at stake. So, Jens, first to go. He's got a lovely team of horses. He's very, very capable. This ride tonight is Lorenz 86. It's a 9-year Holstein gelding by Livello. He finished in the top 6 in the Grand Prix in Kirkspan back at the end of last month. I recall, despite that being a 6th place, I think he actually had a fence down from memory in the first round and finished as the fastest of 4. Coming up to this double at the top of the arena. And they loop round here to fence 8, rolling back. He's doing a brilliant job. Hard to judge the time at the moment, unfortunately. They just got pulled in a little bit off the corner. He was quite conservative to the water. And that doubles things. It's a full up 1.60 m tonight. It's a double A in terms of world ranking points. I've been waiting to see them jump that watermelon wall all week. And this is what I mean about the combination coming really late. I mean, you've jumped 12 numbered fences so far, 13 jumping efforts, then the combination. You need that fitness, that concentration all the way through to the finish. Time alloved's going to be about right, isn't it? Look at that, 86.9. He's just a second inside. The others to go inevitably are going to find a little bit more. But it's certainly not going to be a huge amount of space if you decide to take your time, you're likely to pick up a time fault. So 2 fences have fallen. Very jumpable course. It's a straight jump-off class, this GNP Grand Prix, the Otomi Grand Prix. So they've got to go clear, they've got to find their way through. Well, let's move on to the first for Mexico here this evening. And as I said, Mexico, who got a tremendous amount of talent in their riders. Of course, having a team in Aachen this year. They finished in second place, didn't they, on the podium, the Aachen team. Well, this horse is Contendros, very experienced stallion, 17 now, by Contendro. This is the ride he took with him to Paris this year. Jumped there as an individual. He jumped this horse in the 2-star Contendros in Coex Pan. I think more just to get the horse going again, ready for here, but unfortunately just finding his way onto that rail. It's quite a skinny little rail, isn't it, that blue one, as they come across the arena, and got those big, thick, solid wings, which sort of feel like you're jumping into a tunnel. He gave the top of the wall a little bit of a rub, but it stayed where he needs it. For the moment, he's still sitting on that 8-fault score. Now, visibly a different style of horse. It looks like he's just been that little bit sharper when it's come to the clock. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount in it, actually. Appearances can be deceptive. He's in on the time, 86.89 in by a second. But it is a score of 8. And, you know, if I'm being technically correct, he was faster by 1/100th of a second. Like I said, appearances can be deceptive. So, we've seen one for Germany and one for Mexico. Now we can turn our attention to this lady from the USA. Tremendous experience in the form of Bliss Hears. And she's got a lovely team of horses. This one is called Quality Star. It's an 11-year-old gelding by Quality Time TN. There she is. She spent quite a lot of time earlier in her career in Europe before heading back to the USA. I think she's based in Wellington now. Quite consistent last month with her team in Traverse City. This horse she also spent time with. She went on a trip to Canada, to Spruce Meadows, back in the middle of the summer. Put in some good rounds and picked up some good results there. She also finished second in Ottawa in that Major League Grand Prix back at the end of August. Well, that good form from the summer at the moment has stayed with her here on the trip south down to Mexico. Just moving a little bit over to the left through the combination, but She should be fine on the clock as well. 88 seconds. Oh no, the last has gone.
No, that very last fence we
Unbelievable.
talked
Bliss.
after that triple combination.
It is such a difficult final line after that combination, and so many fences to keep that concentration with the horses that long. I mean, she was fine on the clock, 86.81. Wow, that is a shame. She so deserved the clear, but that's this sport. I can say that probably a dozen times tonight, I'm sure. I've said this before, but you get so often horses and riders, and we've already seen all of them really tonight. They go round for 4, they go round for 8. Okay, yes, you want the clear, but an 8-fault round or a 4-fault round in a lot of cases doesn't mean your horse went badly. It just meant you got caught, a little error here or there, which 90% of the time is the rider's fault. Is that a brave thing to say? But it's probably fair because it comes down to the balance. And let's see how this works out. Patricio Pascual-Poo, Serrat. He's a young man who's learning his trade and learning it well. He's jumped in a lot of youth championships in North America. And Serrat, of course, well known as a Spanish rider in the past. I mean, this horse now is 18 years young, has had quite some career, jumping at major championships as well. He'll be a little bit disappointed to have had that early fence down, but it's one of those moments, you take your opportunity at a big event like this as a young rider. Just put those mistakes out of your head quickly. There's no time to think behind you. It's all about what's in front of you. You can reflect later. Again, the perfect solution from a course designer's point of view is when our commentator can go, well, we're already seeing after 3 or 4 horses different fences going down in different places. So I have to say, it looks like the course designer's got it on the button tonight. Total is 12 though, because we have a fence going down, but again they've just squeezed in on the clock, but I think the time allowed actually as well. I mean, it will inevitably catch somebody out. If it doesn't, fair enough, but it's positioned to just keep them moving at the right pace. Of course, they're running at 375 meters per minute this evening. Emily Conter from Belgium, super young talent here with her sister, and of course Daniel Doyce here as well. The Stefex team have made the trip from Europe to, I think it's fair to say, slightly warmer climates here in Mexico. This ride is Trixie Z, 10-year-old mare by Scuderia 1918 Tobago Z. Of course, the Super Stallion, ridden by Daniel, part of the Stefex team itself. And Emily, who, as she came through the Youth Championships, multiple medal winner, through from children all the way up to young riders, with a couple of team gold medals. She's part of a very strong generation of talent that's come through recently for Belgium. She jumped this ride in the 5-star Grand Prix in Kazakhstan the other day. She did have a fence down in the opening round. She still found her way to 8th because there were only 4 clears. 4 clears? 5 clears. But they're very capable at this level. She's kept a lovely rhythm to this round so far. You saw though what happened with Bliss, the American rider Bliss Years, who's the one full penalty round so far. Of course, she got all the way to the final fence. Sadly for Emily Conter, it's before the final line, that water tray. Oh dear. And you just wonder how much Trixie was just a little unsettled after having had the fence down, whether a little bit of tension then starts to creep in as well with the rider. It's hard to tell, but she didn't have the cleanest jump in to the combination, which I think meant it was probably inevitable she was going to stop. I doubt she'll... Well, I was going to say I doubt she'll come back and jump the combination from this point. I'm more likely to retire, but I could be wrong. But this is one of those rare moments where I'm not. Really unusual for horses and riders, or riders to bring horses. If they've had a problem like that in a combination, it's really unusual to go again, because it's not something you want to just be able to finish on a confident note. The only time you really ever see riders come again in a combination like that after they've had a problem would be in a team competition, where they sort of have to make sure the team still have a counting score. But it's not that day. As big as this class is, with the fences down and the problems already, she knows she's had to save the ride for a different occasion. Next up, another of the big names for Mexico. There'll be a lot of support for all of their riders here today. This is Carlos Jancarero. He's riding H5 Origi Horta by Casanova de la Pom, this 10-year-old Carlos, who took Porthos Maestro to Paris this year. This is a strong horse in its own right. 10 years of age. Sort of produced really by Eduardo Pereira de Menef, the Brazilian rider, part of the H5 team. And then Carlos starting with it at the beginning of this year in Wellington. It's only the third time this horse has jumped in a 160 Grand Prix. It did so the last time, actually. Eduardo rode it last year in Monterey, and then maybe it's the fourth time. I might take that back, because he jumped in Stockholm and in Risenbeck in the Grand Prix with this horse this year. Yet to get a clear, though, in an opening round of a 160 Grand Prix is today. The day that changes for H5 Origi Horta. The 10-year-old is certainly coming of age, and what a performance that was from Carlos, and the crowd absolutely loved it. It's all come together, and that's so nice to see how he's been developing and producing that horse, how the team have brought it through. And over the course of this year, you know, you sometimes take them forward, as we know, to take them backwards. You then drop them down again, and you can see how he's been doing that, just building up, going back, building up, going back, and then just moving forward, and then you get a result like that, a beautiful clear round. Whatever happens next, I think he'll be over the moon. And of course, you know, looking forward to next year as well with H5 Origi Horta. Well, next to go, it is Brazil. Bruno Cavaliero. He's riding Huber B. So this 12-year-old is by Verdi TN. Certainly got a chance with this horse. One or two Brazilians in the field here. Has he had that down? It was hard to see because the camera just kept moving on. Yes, he did have it down because the 4's now up. Sometimes just catch this out the corner of your eye. It's not always as easy. He got away with that, but not that. Been a regular at the shows at this level, at international classes here in Mexico. Well, the combination making it 12. He's not going to go over the finish. He's not going to jump the last. You can see how he's just gone straight on. I think. Or is he going to jump the last? Is he going to come back? Oh, turn out, there goes the hand. Always, I said this yesterday, I'm always a little reluctant to say they've retired, despite the fact that some points it looks quite obvious. Until, I mean, just like the judges, to be fair, and maybe it comes from working in jury boxes with the wonderful ground juries around the world, because until the rider does either raise their hand or tips their cap or nods to the judges in some way, you don't actually know. What I do know is that there was a 5-star Grand Prix here in Mexico at the end of September, just 2 weeks ago. And it was this combination that came out on top. Richard Howley with Zodiac du Boisson Z won the 5-star Grand Prix in Kazakhstan 12 months ago. Richard would have been, well, he would have been a Horse of the Year show actually in the NEC in Birmingham. And then a week later, he went off to Oslo and he won the World Cup, the opening leg of the Western European League. And then he did something which not many have done, which is he did back-to-back World Cup wins, because he went to Helsinki the week after and won there as well. Sadly, it's not going to be back-to-back Grand Prix wins, though, for Richard Howley. He's got a lovely team of horses, and himself and his family, and of course Morgan, who between him and her got a lovely business, a great team around them. And Richard, when he gets the opportunity, he's always been ultra competitive. Every day is different in this sport. You can't have it your own way on all occasions. Sadly for Richard and Zodiac here, it hasn't quite gone as well as it did 2 weeks ago, but he knows how it works. One of the nice people in this sport as well as Richard. So we still sit with one clear round, and it's Mexico, where Carlos Hancorero has shown the rest how you do it. Yes, it's whether you can do it, as we look forward to the next of our partnerships. I'm just checking, it is indeed Eduardo. Graphics will catch up in a minute. Eduardo Pierre de Mene for Brazil with Hot and Spicy. What is he able to do here this evening? He's certainly one of Brazil's most experienced riders and played a big role over the years as part of their teams, certainly the Pan Am Games, where he was part of that gold medal winning team. And of course then before that he had, well, that was with Chiganas, and he had Quintole that he rode on the Rio team, Olympic Games, special moment. This Hot and Spicy, 12-year-old Bizento, this mare. And this would be this horse's first time jumping in a Grand Prix of this level. It has jumped a 160 class previously, but that was not at this level. It's never jumped a AA Grand Prix. Ah! Well, they'll have learnt a lot. They've come very close, and that is a horse I'm sure that really will be able to complete very, very soon at this level and compete. But yeah, I was just having a quick look because I was like, I don't think that horse has ever jumped in a proper 5-star Grand Prix. I know it had jumped in 5-star classes. I remember seeing it in Brussels, but it didn't jump the Grand Prix there. And yeah, I don't think, well, looking back, I know it jumped to 160 in Balkansbad in the summer upon the Globals, but that was a ranking B class and not the Grand Prix. Nevertheless, we move on, as it's now the turn of Spain, Sergio Alvarez Moya. This horse, really, I really like this horse. Talking of Stefex and Brussels, of course, that big show, 5-star of a Nations Cup, big event in Belgium, takes place at the end of August. And these two went very, very well there. And of course, they jumped here, just missed on the podium in the big ranking class here on the opening day of the show. Trying to remember which day of the week we're currently in, which is never easy. But this is Brasilia DKZ. Zero Puma this year in Paris. These two had a win together in Brussels. It's only 9, this gelding, by Siredijk. He did well there because the horse actually just went to step slightly left off balance, and he was very quick with his reactions. He still ended up touching the pole, but he's just having to make sure he guides him around this track. I mean, it's why the riders come here, is it gives them an opportunity to step up. They jumped the Grand Prix in Capexpan was actually their first sort of 5-star 160 Grand Prix. They've had a couple of weeks off, and well, they're ready to go again. They picked up 8 penalties 2 weeks ago. I don't want to say what's about to happen. No. This combination was always going to prove, this final line, in my view, was always going to prove to perhaps turn out to be the toughest point of the course. Because even if you were clear to that moment, it is a long course, and that test is tough at the end. But that is a horse, again, that is really coming on in leaps and bounds, and it has, through, you know, the hands of Ismael Garcia Roca. Of course, he took the ride up through the ranks, and then Sergio taking on the ride would have been in the summer this year. Well, we move on to Ireland's other chance of the night. They certainly have got big chances when they bring their riders, don't they, the Irish? Let's go to the world number 11, shall we? Shane Sweeten and Arar Kumbella. Rode James Cancruz in the Palace of Versailles, the Paris Olympic Games for Ireland this year, and that, I think, very much his top ride, but continually developing everything within the team. And of course, he's become such an integral, sort of one of the backbone riders of Michael Blake's team. Michael Blake, of course, the chef de keep for Ireland, has seemingly an infinite choice of riders on occasions and horses. He is a very blessed chef. But Shane has played, well, quite a role when it's come to those big occasions like Paris and like Tokyo. He's jumped at the Europeans. He was on that silver medal winning team. R.R. Kumbella is now, what, 10 years of age? Turning back. She won a class in Greenwich just before coming here 2 weeks ago. She's very consistent, twice second in the 5 stars in Traverse City last month as well. But unfortunately, unless my eyes deceive me, the middle of the combination has just come down, and it did. And again and again and again, that final line, I think, is going to prove, because the time is such that it's not like you can just sit back and take a nice wide turn, give the horse plenty of space, really to sort of just gently find your way through it, and then that, you know, you're committed to keep moving. Really bad luck for Shane. The only advantage from Shane's perspective in terms of his 4 penalty score versus the other 2, Bliss and Sergio, his is the fastest. This is a huge prize fund here this afternoon. It is $339,500 US. So, you know, let's, like happened the other week, if you get 4 or 5 clears, 6th place is the fastest 4. Still good money. Argentina. Juan Bastida Hortas and Ballypatrick Tangello. Ballypatrick, I'll tell you, there's some Irish in there. This Irish sports horses by Tangello Zitova, and it's only a 9-year-old. Seemingly off to a good strong start though. So got to be able to settle in that triple bar, really big, wide and rather tall, certainly wide. Being honest, one was a rider I hadn't really come across a huge amount of times. I know this horse has jumped quite well in a few international classes over the last sort of year or so with one. But from what I remember looking up, it was the first time that these two had jumped in a 5-star competition, or like a 5-star show together as a combination. It's a shame he's had the watermelons off. But when you look back, actually, over the course of this year, I mean, the number of times they finished in the top 5 in international classes, you can understand why he was feeling ready to take on jumping in there first. 1.60 m. Really stepping up today. And yeah, okay, there's time, but again, they'll have learnt a lot. It's what makes this full tour so good as well. It's why riders have come from Europe. It's why they're here from America, not just because, well, it's simple. They've got amazing facilities in a beautiful part of the world that is putting on big money shows and over a run of, you know, week here, week there. And of course, okay, Kovacs Spen, then they had the week off because of a lot of the riders went to Barcelona. But we're here now in Otomi this week and next week before they move on. And beautiful weather guaranteed. And it gives the horses time to develop. It gives the riders time to work with their horses and allow a little bit of education time and a little bit of that sort of bonding time to make sure that you know, it's a real hard work and graft of making sure you've got that real fine understanding with your horse, and you've got the time to do that on these tours. Ashley Vogel, another chance for the USA with Mariba AGZ, 12-year-old mare by Milo Cartago. That's a shame. He'll probably pick up a time penalty as well. Does pick up a couple of time on top of the jumping score. 14 it is, so 12-2 for Ashley Vogel there for the USA. That was the first of the fences going down. Next up, back home for the Mexican riders, Federico Fernandez. He's also brought his Paris ride here. This is Romeo. You know, I made the comment the other day when he came in the arena. He jumped in his first Olympic Games 20 years ago in Athens on Bohemio. He rode in Hong Kong, he rode in London, and then he returned to the fore in Paris this year. In fact, he first... There's another... you can go back 30 years. Was the first time he rode for Mexico at a championship when he rode Maria in The Hague in the Netherlands in the World Games. He has been an ever-present part of the sport, hugely experienced, and this is another really strong horse. It's just finished in 4th place, got clear and in the jump-off in Japan. Well, he was clear the other day. It's 4 on this occasion. He has just got in on the time, but it is a really strong horse. It's 13 now, that stallion, as I've said, and by Lando, French bred. He's ever present. And if it hadn't been for that rail, he'd have been ever present again in a jump off in a 5-star back-to-back. Anyway, well, you know, we can continue with the experience riders, or the hugely experienced riders in Mexican show jumping, because next to go is Jaime Azaraca, and I mean, he's been jumping really well this week, really well. And this horse that he's riding today is Bailey's Vom Iliom. Really impressive horse. It's 11, this stallion. Yeah, he's got himself underway. But like I was saying, he's another rider. I mean, he rode in, you know, if we'd like to go back to the history books of the Olympic Games, being that it's an Olympic year, he rode a horse called Royal Today back in '84 in Los Angeles. He rode Chin Chin to the 6th place individually in Korea in Seoul. He, again, as I say, has certainly played his part. He rode in Barcelona in '92, and then actually, 20 years later, he rode Gangster in London. He has 4 today, but he's still so competitive. Has he decided to stop? He has. There's the nod. Well, unfortunately, he does make the decision to retire with Bailey's Von Ilium as the fence goes down. So, if I've got my maths correct, we're halfway through the first round of this CSI 5-star Grand Prix. This AA GNP supported Grand Prix. And now it's the turn of Christian Ullmann. Great to see him here. Of course, former European champion, a man that is synonymous with winning some of the biggest classes and titles in the world of show jumping in those famous colours of the Zangerscheid stud, the blue with the yellow collar. Of course, we were all there a few weeks back for the World Young Horse Championships. So, Christian riding with Dorkan Hero Z. He had the wonderful ride, was in Talibé Z when he won the World Cup final in 2011 as well. But he's always, I think a dominator in recent years. He's got a horse out here called Cindy R that's looked really impressive as well. Dorkan Hero was the horse that he rode in the Grand Prix in Peksapan after jumping into the top 6 in one of the qualifiers. At 9, it's certainly been that year where they've been able to make the odd mistake, but have been working sort of towards the big time. And you sort of, I remember Christian doing this with horses on occasions. He went to the UAE a few years ago when we were there, and he had a team of horses, got a nice run of shows, 150, 160, and just had the time to put the mileage in and really build the confidence and understanding. You'll be able to do that well here. And they jumped. This horse jumped its first 5-star Grand Prix in, I think, was in London on the global tour this summer, and then here in Mexico they've had 2 rounds at 5-star on 8, but still with time on their side. As I say, that stallion just 9, heading to be a 10-year-old therefore next year. So we are halfway through. Carlos Ancorero has set the standard. He's jumped the only clear. What a story it would be if he was the only one to jump clear. Then we'd be looking at that's what happened in St. Gallen this year when Martin Fuchs was the only clear, although he was last to go when he did that, so it was sort of quite dramatic. But I am absolutely positive we're going to get a few more. We're going to have a great jump off and a fabulous afternoon and evening of sport. We're going to take a little pause, a 15-minute break. We'll be back with all of the live action here from this amazing Otomi resort and this amazing country. Yeah, don't go too far. Stay with us here in San Miguel Allende.
We have a new leader.
This is part 2, ladies and gentlemen, of the Grand Prix GNP.
Welcome back. It certainly is part 2. It's the second half of this, the opening round here for the GNP Automi Grand Prix. This CSI 5-star Grand Prix for $339,500 here, part of the Mexico Fall Tour in San Miguel de Allende. It is the breathing heart of Mexico and the breathing heart of show jumping. At the moment, we have seen the fascinating opening half, really. We've got 4 riders on 4 faults that are going to not be getting into the jump off, because this is a straight jump off class, and 1 clear round. Mexico's Carlos Guerrero, H5 Orugi Horta, is the one and only clear at the moment. But we move on, because now the turn of Jose Antonio Cherudri riding Jaraminca P. Just to remind you, the time allowed, which is, I think, spot on, but hasn't really caused any major problems, is 88 seconds. Coming over to this sort of narrow fence with the big solid wings, the beautiful peacocks on it. Water's been good this evening, hasn't had any real issues there. Combination at the end of the course had made me think it might catch a few out. We've seen that with 1 or 2. The biggest problem that's coming here is, having set the time all night, hadn't caused us any real trouble. It suddenly has. I mean, Jose will be over the moon with the way the horse has just jumped. The 12-year-old by Verdi TN, Jaraminca P, has left every fence where you need it, and that is up. But sadly, they are over the time allowed. And despite the cheer, it isn't to be. Well, we move up those world rankings. We move now to the world number 1. Of course, it is Henrik von Eckermann. He's got Glamour Girl out here. Today, though, he is riding Minuteman. Now, this is a 5-star horse, well established. It's 10 years of age by Viggo Dastui. It's been ridden in recent times by Willem Greve. Was the Dutch international. And so this is the first time really jumping for these two at this sort of stage. But Henrik, I mean, obviously he went back to Europe last week to jump in Barcelona with King Edward, and he had Glamour Girl in the Grand Prix in Cohexapan, but this is really new in terms of this combination. It'll be interesting to see now how this all starts to evolve. Fight a little bit off the turn there. I say fight, it was more just Henrik Just saying, hang on a moment. If you don't sort of listen, I'm not going to be able to balance you up, and we're going to struggle when we get there. I didn't think the water would be a problem. It's a horse that Villengrave used to jump on Nations Cups. And it's going to be a solid team horse and Grand Prix horse for Henrik's stable. I've lost count of the number of months he's been ranked world number 1 in those Longines rankings. There is one clear round at the moment. He won the class, the big ranking class 2 days ago on Glamour Girl. He saved Minute Man for today, but look at that. Never mind to the minute. I would go as far as to say to the second, 87.22. To remind you, the time allowed is 88. He has judged it perfectly. And Minute Man and Henrik von Eckermann seem to be finding their understanding. So, we are guaranteed a jump off. Sweden, world number 1, Henrik von Eckermann, joins Mexico, one of their very best, Carlos Hank Guerrero. Exciting times ahead. Now we just need a few more. Whether we do, whether we don't, we've got 2. That's all you need. Alejandro Mills back with Mexico now. This 13-year-old gelding by Fabrice Barmargo is called Bretzel du Marais. What is he able to do? It's early fence down, unfortunately, for Alejandro. He's been his main ride over the last year or so. Keeps themselves to the shows here at home. Not that, I mean, there's no shortage of international shows. He's going to get in the time, isn't he? 87.39. He has just got in. And Alejandro there, I think he'll be happy enough. He jumped with Bretzel du Marais in the 5-star Grand Prix in Copac-Saint-Pen 2 weeks ago. So on the 8, of which there are, what have we got? 2, 4, 5 on 8, 5 on 4, or 4 on 4, 1 on 3. And then, of course, let's not forget Jose Antonio Chaudry-Prom picking up those time penalties a short while ago. Right, next to go, it is back to Europe for Belgium, for Zoe Conter. Already seen her sister, sadly, getting all the way towards the end of the course before she ran into trouble, but that was Emily. This is Zoe. Another superb part of this sort of generation of golden talent that has come through just recently. Starred at youth championships, at sort of juniors, young riders, and I think perhaps the leading example of that is Gilles Thomas. This is another part of that sort of generation. This is La Una. Zoe is riding. There's a little bit of a hold. I mean, she's only got 6 seconds to get to the start, so I hope the judges are feeling slightly generous. And allow, oh yeah, they've reset it all. Of course the judges are generous, it's not generous, they're just fair. There's an amazing team of officials from the FEI, judges, of course, as well as technical staff, but also the stewards that course designers work across the globe at all these events, and they all strive to make sure they do the very best, and always putting the welfare of the horse at the top of the list and fairness in competition. Now, these two jumped in the 5-star in Brussels. They've jumped 160 Grand Prix on a few occasions.
Deciding to retire. La GNP abandonne een vrijwillige opgave in deze grote.
Just not been their day. Stefak's team still have another rider to go. Maybe they'll get lucky on the third occasion. We will see. Still the two clears. Yes, indeed, Ben, on the Arena PA, just reminding us of that, and that is the case. And I still think we'll get another. Oh, you got the quality left in the draw. It's looking down quickly ahead of me. There's 4 that I would be looking at thinking, yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't, couldn't, or wouldn't go clear. So that could, and even if half of those go clear, we'll still end up with 4. We've got 2, we've got to jump off. Right, this is Luis Guerrero Hacienda riding Unthinkable. Back with Mexico here then. 12-year-old Zankerscheid registered stallion by Untouchable. Lovely big jump over that. It's very scopy. Got a lot of power, a lot of lift. I'm almost too scared to say anything at this point. Whoa! Unthinkable or unthinkable. It's a time penalty. Oh, Luis. Untakeable. Oh. 88, 99. I mean, he'd done everything right. I can't say anything now. It'd be the curse of the commentator if he has the fence down. I'll never get out of here. It's... Oh, can you believe it? Wow. And still, there were 2. Carlos and Heinrich. But we've got a rider on a single time penalty, which means for the moment, in a class where the prize money is as large as it is, third place is still quite a hefty payday. Well, next up, it is Emanuele Camilli for Italy, the Italians' chance here this evening. Italy with Odense, Odeveld. I quite like this horse. It looked good here the other night. 10 years of age by Diamante Sameli out of a... I haven't got that part of the breeding, but this is a Belgian warm blood. These two rode together in Paris this year, jumped as individuals, as they had done also in, as well as the team. They've been on the European team in Italy the previous year. And the 160 Grand Prix in Capexapan, they had one down. There's no trouble, no bother, or any issue with the clock this time round. Den Soderveld. Oh, what a brilliant, brilliant round. Well, it's sort of been trying to give us a clear. We've seen two already, as we know, leave the fences standing since the break, but have time penalties. But you could see there that Manueli was just very comfortable. And Odent Soderveld, yet again, just jumping quite beautifully. That wonderful gelding. And comfortable with the clock. Very comfortable indeed. So, 3 through. Italy joining Sweden and Mexico. Next to go, Antonio, sorry. Antonio Mora. And back with the Mexican riders here. Still a few chances for... I still think we'll get a few more clears yet. So, this horse is Kansas ZHS, or ZSH even. 10-year-old by Gran. And he's a rider that knows his way around these courses over the years. Looking at part of the Mexican team from Sydney back in 2000. He's ridden at World Championships. Just, you could see he realised he was in trouble 3 strides out when he started to sit and hold. Just got too close. Kept it to the way. 8 penalties there for Antonio Moreno and Kansas ZSH. 9 to go. We're into the final 10, aren't we? So we've got Switzerland, Mexico, Germany, Canada, Colombia, Argentina, all with chances, riders to go. Here's for Switzerland. And her husband's already through to the jump-off in the form of Henrik van Eckermann. What can Janneke do? Janneke Sprunger and Orelli. I mean, this is a super horse, this 10-year-old. She's a beautiful, beautiful mare by Emerald. And she's got scope, she's got power, and she's got a great jockey as well. And we'll see how she gets on. I mean, over the years, Janneke's shown just what a force she can be in this sport. These two got themselves into the jump-off 2 weeks ago in Coaxpan. They finished 3rd behind Richard Howley and Daniel Deusser. They were on the Swiss team as well in Brussels. I was getting there, Stefax part of that winning Swiss team. Unfortunately, though, a fence has gone down. It is a score of 4 today. Sort of round that goes back to something I said right back at the beginning of this class, and okay, she's had the last down, which still doesn't change what I'm about to say. And I said earlier, sometimes you can finish on 4, you can finish on 8. Doesn't mean you had a really bad round or your horse didn't go well, because actually Arelli was jumping really well. It's just the smallest margin can create a fence falling like that, and then you end up with penalties. It's the game. Right, on we move. Still 3 clears. As the numbers tick down in this nearly $340,000 160 Grand Prix here in San Miguel de Allende, the GNP Segueros Attorney Grand Prix. Next up, Mexico's Patricio Pascual Q. This is Chacalu PS. 10-year-old by Diablo Blanco. One of 4 for Mexico still to jump. Others that's jumped on teams, of course, Babel, the horse that took him to World Championships twice, to Olympics in Tokyo and the Pan Am Games in Lima. Oh dear, he's in trouble now. That happened on the turn. He just lost the rhythm and the balance as he came and turned to the right hand side from 6 to 7, and then it's quite hard to see from this angle, but it is quite a sharp little turn. The horse almost just sort of sidestepping, just breaking with the concentration, and then quite rightly nobody was going to try and take on a parallel coming out after that. So very quick reactions from Patricio. He's on the 8 as he comes round this final line. Made it with time to a total of 12. Of course, the time penalty's coming the moment he pulled out in the double and took the circle. So, you know, discretion being the better course of valour, it was quite understandable. I don't know for the replay or run around. You see it there. The horse, when it landed over the fence before, was just looking a little bit uncomfortable. And there's a brick coming out of the top of the watermelon. I do love that. It's interesting as well, because I've had this thing about walls recently. You see walls nowadays in the sport. Walls years ago, even older than I was, or I am, walls years ago, of course, always the most solid things. I mean, the Puissance wall, you think of that. I mean, they're jumping one in Birmingham this evening in the UK. Solid walls. Nowadays, walls are the most sort of open, gappy, holes in them, fine, little delicate sort of items that we see in show jumping courses more often to not if they build a set of planks that's solid, but the wall rarely. And interestingly here, I mean, it's really apt having a watermelon as a wall. I mean, I love the fact that every showground we seem to go to, the wall is the feature, as Talking of features, this man is featured at the top on so many occasions, and it's great to see this little purple patch that he's hit since the end of August with the brilliant wins and results with his team at home at StefX in Brussels. He's been flying along since he got out here to Mexico as well. What can Daniel Duisa and Gangster do today? Gangster van het Nudved, the lovely 13-year-old. It's so hard to keep yourself at the top of the rankings, and Daniel's been there. But he's just had to sort of use this year just to sort of re-establish this new sort of string of horses that he's got around him. I mean, they're not so new now, but then they've suddenly, it's all just come together. It cannot be the work of a moment not to have a team of horses around you as well. But this is good. These two were second to Richard Howley 2 weeks ago in that big Grand Prix. When you looked at it on paper before this class started, you had to think, could it be their day? Well, so far so good. We've got 4 clears. It's going to be an absolute firecracker here in Mexico. Well, Daniel Duis has joined in with Manuela Camilli for Italy, Henrik von Eckermann from Sweden, of course the world number 1, and one of Mexico's very best, Carlos Ancarero. It is going to be intense. This is a superb afternoon of sport here in San Miguel de Alejandre. No idea who's going to win it, although Daniel just, I don't know, he's just had form on his side, and when he's like that, he can be awfully, awfully difficult to beat. Right, next up, Mexico once more. Citali Elena Martinez Cortez riding Balam SDN. 6 left in this opening round. Maybe still yet another clear or 2, I think, in there. Maybe 1 at least, surely. Well, I'll just keep hoping. 4 absolute brilliant, 4 brilliant combinations through. And of course, to remind you as well, this is a straight jump-off class, so therefore they'll come back in the order they've gone clear. And it will be the clears and the clears only. It will not be the day, though, for these two. She's a good all-round talented rider. She's competed internationally, actually, not just at jumping, but dressage and eventing as well. Sadly, the combination adding to the score and time penalty, perhaps just the one. No, just him. Citali Elena Martinez Cortez, Balam SDN. So we sit with a 4. I still don't think this is done in terms of the clears, not with this lady as well. I mean, this was one of those when I was looking ahead 5-10 horses ago, thinking maybe. Well, top 20, one of Canada's very best. And form, as I would say, with Daniel, counts in this sport, and this lady's got form. I mean, she won the first 5-star class here on Thursday. She won the first 2-star class here on Thursday as well. She also got both of her horses into the jump-off on that day. She went well yesterday. we'll see what happens. Erin Ballard, of course, here with Defleur, the third Z, the stallion by Desenat. She didn't jump in the show 2 weeks ago because she's come fresh from jumping in the US. She was in Greenwich and in Traverse City over the course of the other month. She's unfortunately had the fence down. It was after this show. Was it here 12 months ago? The last time Julio David Vinier, the Mexican rider, who used to ride this horse before it went to Erin. She only started then with it after the horse had had a little bit of time off, came back in the summer. But today is not their day. That's disappointing. Well, talking of in-form riders that have been going rather well and won 2 classes here in this very arena since the show got started on Thursday. There's this man you could add to that mix as well, John Perez, the Colombian rider. Aztlan is the ride today in the Grand Prix. He won the class earlier today in the 2-star. I mean, he must be having tremendous run with these horses. I mean, he must be feeling great, is what I was trying to say, with the way it's all going. So this is a gelding by Tangelo. And this is Aztlan. So this is a good chance, a very good chance. When he won the other day, he did it from the front. He gave us the first clear and then won it first draw. Rides, of course, for Colombia. He's ridden at several Pan Am Games through his career. Also qualified for the World Cup final back in 2011. The horses need not prove anything. They've already proved just how good they are, and I think today he doesn't need to ask any more. And I think he might want a confidence jump before he goes any further. They've retired, officially retired now, which means we just have 3 to go with 4 clears so far. Now the next up, when we were doing the intro to this Grand Prix a while ago, I mentioned this man and I mentioned this horse, and for good reason. Hopefully I'm not sort of putting a curse on them by bringing this up, but Egidio Garaz Perez, superb rider, lovely horse, this Cantago. It's been a good Nations Cup horse as well, good championship horse. It's got a lovely level of sort of consistency to the way that it's been able to perform and go. He's a super jockey as well. He's Ridden now at the last 2 Olympics. This was the ride this summer, as it was at the Worlds in 22. But it's not to be today. He's on the force and thought it's over and done in terms of his chances. And then there were two more with a chance to get into the jump off. Down the combination and down it goes. I haven't sung the compliments of the course designer for a little while, but he certainly can sing for himself. He's done a brilliant job today. Olof Pedersen Jr. So then just 2 left to try and find a way through and into the jump off against the clock for this nearly $340,000 prize fund. Huge money on offer here in Mexico. So, what can Arturo Parada Velero do? For last chance for Mexico. There are 2 to go, 1 for Mexico, 1 for Argentina. Mexico have 1 of the 4 clears. Can they double up? Medal winner at the Central American Games in the past. He's got a horse that he jumped. He's jumping into the 2-star here called Icarus. And I mean, it flies. It really flies. I mean, this one's certainly picking up. I'm also under the impression this is a sort of new ride for him. The first show was in Covex Pan. There was a former rider, Pedro Junqueira Mailat, the Brazilian rider, who had ridden it in a few 5 stars. I mean, they got straight on together, these 2. Jumped in the Grand Prix 2 weeks back in that big 160. They finished on 8 penalties that day. You've heard the shout go up from the side of the arena, and that'll be for the time, because at the moment, as much as he's jumping clear, I would suggest there is little hope of him being able to do so inside the time allowed. And down it goes, first part of the combination. Oh, he's going to struggle. He was always going to struggle. But you can hear what it means. He's got round in his second. I mean, it says something for him as a rider as well, in positive way, that he's got that sort of level of trust. His new ride, second show, first show was 2 weeks ago, goes in the 5-star, jumps the Grand Prix, goes home on 8. This week, it's a better round. He just has the 1 down. Yes, there's a couple of time penalties in there, so it's 6, but it is moving in the right direction, and that is all you can ask for. Next up is the last to go in the opening round, Ignacio Morin with a Chicado, Argentinian rider, who again, I hadn't seen a huge amount of, and then watching the horses that he had here this week already, actually there's some really nice horses here in this stable, and he's certainly able to get them comfortable and get them focused. Riding here with Conchado by Cantágaras. He's 12 years of age, this gelding. Jumped this horse in the 2-star the other day. He has jumped 160 previously, but has that gone down or did that stay up? Camera moving on. I think he got away with a little bit of a roll of the pole. He hasn't got away with it then. So there we have it. It locks in. There will be 4 of them that come back in the jump off here for the GNP 160 Grand Prix. It's a 5-star event here in the Otomi Resort. And it's going to be a jump off between the clears for the prize. To finish it on the 4, should be again relatively pleased with that, despite that sort of slightly innocuous upright going down into the double. I mean, a lot more of the complicated fences stayed up, although it can't work your way every day. So, bad luck to Argentina's Inacio Morin. Congratulations to these 4. Mexico, Sweden, Italy and Germany. One of those anthems will play at the end of this jump-off. Carlos Sanquerero, H5 Origi Horta, Henrik von Eckermann, Minuteman, Manuele Camilli and Odense Odveld, and Daniel Deusser, the double D last to go with Gangster Van Het Nudeveld. Good luck picking a winner from those 4. We are going to take a pause. We are going to get ready for the jump-off here in Mexico. It is the 5-star finale. Of course, they get another big class. I should mention that if you're enjoying the sport here. Big class tomorrow. I mean, it's still a ranking B class tomorrow. I mean, so we've got that and a 2-star Grand Prix, which is a ranking C. And then, of course, we'll only be stopping for a few days, and then we'll start and do it all over again with the 3-star next week, right here in this arena. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes' time.
have a new leader.
Who's going to be leading at the end of this? Who's going to be standing on top of the podium? Because this is what it's come down to. 4 horses, 4 riders, these combinations from 4 nations are going to battle it out for nearly $340,000. It is time for the Grand Prix, the Otomi Grand Prix, presented by GNP, to get underway with its jump off against the clock. Welcome. If you're just joining us, you're tuning in at the absolute perfect moment. If you've been with us, you'll know just how exciting this class has already been, as we got 1 or 2 got awfully close. You think of those 2 riders that got time penalties. You think of the likes of Bliss Hears, who, well, got as far as the final fence before something went wrong, and that fell down. But these 4 certainly got it right. And this man got it right first with this lovely 10-year-old H5 Ogori Horta. Tremendous experience from Carlos Hank Guerrero. And this ride that just continues to step up and get better and better. He was the only clear out of the first half of the class. Now he's going to be the first to go in this jump-off round that starts over what was, in fact, the second fence in the opening round, but then it starts to change. They'll roll back to what was 4. It's now a Oxer numbered 16, and then it's on to 5. After 5, actually, is a really fascinating. It's one of those turns where you've got to go round the fence to come back to it, which I always believe are a little bit harder, because you've got to make the judgment on where the turn comes. You're riding past a fence to come back to it. Much more difficult. Right, fingers crossed. Good luck to these 4. May battle commence. Right, now back. Land. Oh, it's gone. Mexico's chance has had a fence. And then there's this final line, same final fence. Doesn't want to have another one, he keeps it to the 4. 43.02 on the clock as the standard is set with a score of 4. So that was Carlos Hank Guerrero, H5 Ogori Horta there for Mexico. 3 to go. 1 for Sweden, 1 for Italy, 1 for Germany. One of the perhaps favourites is Henrik von Eckermann, the world number 1, the world champion, the World Cup holder, with the new ride Minute Man. But as new as this horse is to Henrik, it isn't new to this level of jumping. We know that from Villeneuve's rides, but it's the first time, it's still really new for Henrik, and it's the first time they've been in this position. It's just hard to ever bet against him when he's in a jump off, although on this occasion, take nothing away from the 2 that are yet to come. Certainly Daniel Deusser is in quite a rich vein of form. Here we go. You can see from the beginning, this is around where, this is the key turn as well. This is where you've got to go so wide to come back on yourself. But Henrik is not chasing the clock. He is producing a round that continues to build the confidence and the relationship with Minuteman. The time to chase will come, and as big a prize as this is, he knows he's got a guaranteed top 4. If he jumps a clear now, he's guaranteed a podium. And I think from his perspective, that, even if it is 3rd, is a very good day. 53.09. But it was a sensible game. And that goes a long way to explaining and showing to the world how he continues to stay as the world number one, because the horses that come to him, despite the experience, he's taking the time with them. Right, Manuel Camilli. I mean, this is a great opportunity for the Italian here. I'm trying to work out the music. So, we have Minuteman and Henrik von Eckermann leading 53.09 with the clear. We know that is not quick, but it is clear. So, the Italians' chance now. Let me keep the turns relatively tight. He knows that perhaps when it comes to time, he probably can't beat Daniel, but what he can do is put a bit of pressure on Daniel. And this is, you see what I mean about the turn? It's a much better angle to see it from. It's so difficult, especially coming back to the parallel, because you get too tight. Now he's just getting a little bit more confident. How confident can he be to the last? Because if he can jump it clear, he's certainly going to go to the top of the leaderboard. And it is, in fact, Italy now that top the leaderboard here in Mexico in this GNP Grand Prix, the Grand Prix of Atomi. The 5-star. I can't say it's coming to its conclusion with the Grand Prix because there's the big class tomorrow and there's another $100,000 in that one. Like I said, I don't think that, I mean, and that was good, and he deserves it. If that is the winning round, he has won it, and he has won it well. But I don't think he can beat Daniel on pace, not with the form that Gangster's in. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, as a reference point, don't forget that Carlos's horse, Origi, went round in 43.02, which was nearly 4 seconds faster than Emanuele's now leading time. These two were second 2 weeks ago, pipped to the post there by Richard Howley. He has been winning some big classes over the last, well, what, 6 weeks? Brussels, Spruce Meadows, Mexico. He's the last to go. Is it Daniel Deusser's day, the double D? And the Gangster. What's he got? I think he's got enough that he doesn't need to take an unnecessary risk, but he knows he's got to keep the pace. Right, here he goes. He's going to try and win this. Beautiful on the turn. But the faster you go, the riskier it gets. But when you're in form, this will be the perhaps hardest point of the course, and he's having to fight sitting Gangster back. Oh, powerful jump, lifted his back end right up over the rail. Super over the upright. Daniel Deusser, now he needs to just hit the brakes a little bit. Gets in, gets out, coming home. Surely the time is going to be beaten. Daniel Deusser, second 2 weeks ago, but when it comes to today, he wins. Brilliant performance here in this CSI 5-star Grand Prix of Atomi. It is a win for Daniel Deusser and Gangster Van Het Nieuwegein. What a brilliant performance to take the top spot here in this AA ranking Grand Prix. Mr. Deusser is certainly climbing back up those world rankings currently, and it is just so good to see him on such fabulous form. He is flying along at the minute. And when, like I said, confidence really helps. I mean, Manuel Camilli, I don't think we could have asked, or he could have asked any more out of Adents. And I think what they've achieved today is certainly worthy of a celebration. Henrik, the time will come despite the 10-second difference today, where Minuteman is more than capable with Henrik of taking on Daniel and Gangster. Today was not that day. That was never the plan. You could see that from the moment he went through the start, even the jump off. And Carlos Guerrero, 43.02, will always at least have the ability to know he was the fastest. Sadly, fence goes down and it isn't Mexico's day, it's Germany's day. So that is the lineup for the presentation and the podium in a minute. And of course, as I've mentioned, there is another big $100,000+ class here tomorrow. We're going to bring you along with the 2-star Grand Prix. And then, of course, we've got all of next week to go as well. There's a lot of jumping here in Atomi. It is an amazing part of Mexico, the heart of Mexico, without any question. Beautiful scenery, wonderful architecture, amazingly nice people, and in a minute we'll see the presentation of awards here in San Miguel de Allende. I'll take a breather, you can take a pause, we'll come back in a minute for the presentation of awards.
We are getting set and ready for the prize giving of the 5-star Grand Prix here in San Miguel de Allende. The prize giving of the Grand Prix powered by GNP Seguros 2024.
Vamos a pedir la presencia del señor Jaime Azcárraga y del señor Alfonso Romo, que nos acompañan aquí. Jaime Azcárraga y Alfonso Romo, los estamos esperando aquí en la pista. Si nos hacen el favor. Bien, aquí tenemos al señor Alfonso Romo. Otomí le quiere agradecer su apoyo en este Fall Tour. Este Fall Tour que se lleva a cabo en Copexpan, ahora en Otomí. La semana que entra se lleva a cabo en Monterrey. El apoyo que Alfonso Romo le ha dado al Fall Tour es importante para la familia Ecuestre. Solo espero al señor Jaime Azcárraga. Bien, ya llegó con nosotros el señor Jaime Azcárraga. Su apoyo ha sido invaluable en estos eventos de alto nivel.
Ladies and gentlemen, the prize giving of the Grand Prix presented by GNP Seguros 2024. And once again, we count on your enthusiasm. We count on your applause as we welcome our top 5 of the 5-star Grand Prix here at the Otomi Horse Show.
I think we're just about set for the presentation of awards. As you can see, the presenting partners, our dignitaries, and sponsors all just gathering to be able to take their opportunity to congratulate our winner and prize winners here in the awards ceremony. So riders will be heading our way in a moment or so. Well, here we go. In 5th, it is Luis Carrera Castienda. and untakeable.
Y recibamos al cuarto lugar de este Gran Premio GNP de México.
Well done. That single time penalty in the opening round. Less than a second away from a clear. Very good effort indeed. Finishing in fourth place, here he is, Carlos Sanguerero. H5, Origi Horta. Together they will at some point stand on the top of a five-star Grand Prix podium, I am sure. But today was not their day. I mean, I think he had the disadvantage, I know, that he had to go first in the draw of those in the jump-off. And I think that's where the difference between Daniel and Carlos today, I think that was the draw. Otherwise, either of those two could have won it. Henrik never tried, and there is no disrespect in that. It was about the reason that horse and the reason Henrik is here. He's got Glamour Girl out here as well. Glamour Girl is flying. She's already won a class this week. Minuteman is here to build the relationship and learn with Henrik. So the two of them are ready for what comes next. And today, that was another building block in place. Very secure foundations. These two did all that could be asked of them. I mean, it is a super horse. It's a championship horse. It jumps clear after clear. And well done, Odense Odeveld and Manuele Caramilli there for Italy. Ultimately, though, as much as, yes, he was faster than a Henrik, a Minuteman, not pushing sort of time, he was never, without being rude, going to beat this man once he booked the clear round because he was flying. Daniel Deusser may well have been second just recently at a big Grand Prix in Pound, but when it came to today, second was never going to be where he wanted to end up. I think, like I said a minute ago, I think if the order between he and Carlos had reversed, maybe something different would have happened if Daniel had had to go first. But I think he really got the bit between his teeth, if you forgive the pun. Meanwhile, it's carrot time. This has been such a revelation to me. And we've all seen riders coming over be congratulated in presentations over the years. We've all seen the way it works. I've never actually seen somebody stand there with a basket full of chopped up carrot ready for the horses just to have a little lunch on. And it's a very, a clever way of keeping them still while the presentation's going on as well. The world number one stepping forward. Tremendous effort in second place today. Like I say, I think one of the stars of the day, really. Manuele Caramelli Aladent Odeveld, the 10-year-old. And superb performance from the Italian. He's smiling. He's happy. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I haven't got my notes in front of me to say where Daniel is in the world rankings. And of course, he was so high, and over the year, it as the horses have moved around and things have changed, of course, he dropped down a little bit. He is rising quickly. He is on the rise, and a Daniel Deusser with a confident team of horses around him and a confident rider. I mean, that is certainly what we want in this sport, because he is one of the very, very best. Well, they're heading over to the grooms. Of course, Daniel, part of the Stefex stable.
champion, ladies and gentlemen, Gangster van de Dodderveld and Daniel Deuser.
Up he goes. I mean, Daniel is certainly tall. And that's one of the, not just that Henrik and that are on lower levels, he's a tall rider. He has the most amazing balance. He watches lower leg when he's riding, and the way he can keep his body position so very, very straight, I think it's one of those you want to watch if you're looking to learn. And it's what helps keep the horses so balanced, allows him to ride at the pace he does. What a day. It's anthems now for the raising of the flag for our winning nation here in the Grand Prix. Of course, it is Daniel Deuser for Germany. Special moments whenever you stand on a podium, but in a 5-star Grand Prix, it is a very privileged position to be in, and to have done it on multiple occasions, which is something that both he and Henrik have done before. Shows you just the elite talent that they have as horsemen, and able to, along there with Manuele, produce and bring these horses up to this very top level of the sport. Well, there is a great big trophy. See the sun now just beginning to set in the background as well. Make for some nice photos. It's a really nice trophy. We should have more trophies like that in our sport. Big solid trophies. We used to have a lot more than we do. Which trophy is the photo time? Everybody in. Well done to Gangster Van Het Nudewied. Teen really in prime form. Looking forward to the big class tomorrow. Have fun fitting that one in your suitcase. I think that's the one that stays here. Isn't it nice to see real trophies? Yes, I don't know. I just don't think we see enough of them in the sport. They used to always be presented, but now I'm just not sure they, well, I've been enjoying this bit all week, because the nice man gives it a shake, and then it becomes really difficult to get them cork out the bottle. And I wonder if he'll now spray them because it's the Grand Prix. They've been given these beautiful flumes to have a polite glass with. Yep, but getting the cork out of these champagne bottles here in Mexico is not an easy task. Riding a horse. He got it out eventually. Well done, Daniel. Nearly got it all over Henry. Trouble is with champagne, as I've learned from reading about comments from people that get shaved, but he's done it anyway. Once you get it in your clothes, it is so difficult to get out. Well, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of celebrating going on, not just now, but later as well. Sissy, Ben, our arena compere announcer, is going to try and just sneak in and grab a little word, and it'll be worth trying to hear any comments that Daniel has got to make. So let's have a little listen.
Like I mentioned yesterday already, we have a package of a show here, a fantastic show. First of all, for our partner, for our horse, we have fantastic stables. We have a very good ground here. We have nice fences. So everything is done very nice for our horses. Second of all, the atmosphere is very good. People are having fun. People feel good here. And my results are also not bad. That helps also a little bit. But no, I think in the name of all the riders, I just have to say thank you very much to our organization. We have a fantastic show here.
Thank you so much, Daniel Burson, and an incredible podium.
And that is the key. You can have beautiful country, which we do here in Mexico. You can have wonderful prize money, which we do here in Mexico. But it's the facilities for the horses and the fact that the riders can come and know and trust that they have the excellent world-class, not only stables, but training facilities around as well, that when they're here, they can ensure their horses get the best possible care.
Thank you so much to all members of the presenting party, our sponsors, our partners, the Federation, the Federation Equestre International, and of course the organizing committee. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, you have been an incredible audience. An incredible audience.
What a day. Well done, Ben. But most of all, well done, Daniel. Well done, Emanuele. Well done, Henrik. Well done, Carlos. And what a day. It has certainly been the sport on top. A high from start to finish. But it is the lap of honour, the victory lap that heads off for the 2024 running of this GNP Grand Prix of Autonomy. It has been a very special day for us to have been able to enjoy this 5-star equestrian extravaganza here in San Miguel del Allende. I hope you can join us again tomorrow. We've got more 5-star jumping and 2-star jumping and lots more action to enjoy. But as the sun begins to set, we'll leave you with a lap of honour. Well done again. Daniel Duyser and Gangster Van Het Nudeveld wins this Grand Prix.
We have a new leader.